My name is Ella Engelbrecht and I'm working for BCX, and we are basically a B2B provider in the ICT sector, provide everything from your laptop, software, hardware, right through to the infrastructure business, to the network. So it's really the full Monty, if you can call it that. So quite a complex business. I am responsible for marketing operations. That includes all the admin and the payment of vendors and all of those very interesting things. And then also for sales enablement of our salespeople to make them sell better and enable them better. Also then MarTech, the enablement via systems and hardware, software, processes, training of our marketing team, that sort of thing. And then the last two are basically the market trends and insights and strategy. And then lastly, and also sort of my soft spot is, as you know, customer experience. So spent a lot of years exclusively doing customer experience. So a very big passion of mine.
Over the last 12 to 18 months, we've seen things shift quite a bit, and what impact did that have on your ability then to deliver against customer experience?
In terms of customer experience, we really had a great year. And then when I tried to unpack this myself, I realized that it was just, the whole ecosystem working together and performing under the stress that COVID put on it. We provided much better customer experience to our clients, and that's also the feedback that they gave us. And hopefully that's a trend that we can continue, holding and keeping up. And I think a lot of that may have also been in terms of the trust relationship that we call them relationship managers, that those people in our company have with our clients.
You've phrased it around was the year of trust. I mean, that's great, because I think what we see with customer experience especially is that, you need to be able to build those trusting relationships. And I think what you were saying also about the entire ecosystem coming to the party in terms of needing to now deliver on customer experience, I think that's also what we're finding is that, your entire organization needs to buy in to the importance of customer experience. And I think, from what you're saying, because you guys have been able to get that right, it really then kind of reflected in the feedback that you were getting from your clients.
Whatever, but I think if you really deliver deep, meaningful customer experience, that's a competitive advantage, and that's a brand positioning that it's very difficult to follow. It takes time to build relationships with clients. It takes time to build that trust. It really takes time and effort, and that's one of the competitive advantages that's the most difficult act to follow, in my mind. Definitely long-standing trust relationships that helped us a lot. I also believe that customers tended to be more lenient. Everyone knew, listen, everyone's under stress, operations are under stress, and I think clients were more lenient. And hopefully, so I don't think that's going to continue. I think that was for 2020. I think going forward, clients will become more demanding again. They would demand that everything is, back to normal and in place, and there's no leeway given anymore. But I do believe that our clients were also much more accommodating, much more willing to take the business online, and obviously that helped a lot. And another very interesting thing that I have observed in terms of our client interaction is the fact that I also see the interactions becoming more informal. So I always like to, unpack all of these things and try and figure out what is the drive. And I do believe because people are working from home, that they are more in their informal personal space, and therefore it seems as if even the B2B interactions are more informal. And I also think that people are so hungry for more personal touch. But I think customer experience is always a moving target. You're never there. You have never reached that destination. And that's due to the client experience requirements and expectations. It's changing the whole time, as you mentioned, not just in terms of what they want, but also how they want it, and being shaped by other industries and the B2C space. I think more than ever, keeping your finger on the pulse of the client experience, on the voice of the customer, it just becomes more and more imperative to be able to be competitive in the marketplace. And also getting more frequent feedback and more meaningful feedback from your clients. I think that's going to be the silver bullet going forward if you want to differentiate yourself. And in my mind, you need to approach something like this from two angles. The one is from an employee culture angle, and the other one is from a operational, maybe that's not the right word, but more from a tactical user journey, persona angle, and then designing the processes accordingly. So maybe if I can talk to the first one in terms of approaching it from an employee side and a culture side. So what BCX is doing is we've established very strong DNA culture behaviors, and we have engaged with our employees, and they actually voted for what is the behavior that they want to see most in the company. The second area in terms of driving that omni-channel experience is really the practical stuff. So defining your personas, defining your user journeys, and making sure that irrespective of which channels you interact with to go into that user journey, that experience is consistent. The customer experience strategy, and then that constant feedback in terms of voice of the customer. So if I can just spend a moment talking about our customer experience strategy, a big focus for us is really in terms of driving an omni-channel approach, and to be really that when our customers wants to start engaging much more on a digital channel, especially on a self-service type channel, that we are ready and that we've got everything in place. We've got our ducks in a row, the processes are sorted, the platform is sorted, and that we really provide a very good omni-channel experience. I always believe you could rather not introduce a new channel than to introduce a channel that doesn't work well. And that obviously goes to digital channels as well. Rather not have a channel than have a channel where there's a negative experience, or have different channels that's got different experience levels between the different channels. In terms of that omni-channel strategy that you mentioned, I think that's extremely important. You need to get that consistent experience, irrespective which channel the client use, whether it's digital, whether it's personal, it doesn't matter, because you as a company have got the client engages with BCX, whether they do it via the call center, whether they do it via the account manager, the project manager, the service integration manager, that's irrespective to the client. It's still one company, and I think clients really, really hate it when they've got these companies that's schizophrenic. In BCX, our whole customer experience program is built around listen, learn, and act, listen, learn, and act.